I'm Sister Rose Picotti, and this is my brain story. I was born in Virginia in 1951. I loved to play in cardboard boxes as a baby. What's with that? I have 3 brothers and 4 sisters. Here's my mom with 4 of us. My dad was in the Navy, so he was gone a lot, but the other 4 came along eventually. I went to public school, and I loved it. I was a Girl Scout, Candy Striper, and on the very first swim team at our high school. I even went to charm school for 6 weeks. One day at the Del Mar Fair, after pinning name tags on kids in the morning with my Girl Scout troop, we were on the rides, and I felt the call to become a nun. So I joined the Daughters of St. Paul in 1967 in Boston, and that's where I've been for the last 45 years. Most people don't believe it, so I just tell them I joined when I was 3. Because of my graduate degree in education and media studies, I now get paid to review movies for several Catholic online and print outlets. I think my mother's turning over in her grave. When the nuns in my community started telling me that my eyes didn't track together left to right, I went to the optometrist who sent me to the neuro ophthalmologist. He told me I had something called, I have to read this, internuclear ophthalmoplegia. Can you say that fast 3 times? I can't, and I'm reading it. He also told me I had MS, but that he couldn't diagnose me. He said I'd have to see a neurologist who would carry out a battery of tests. That started me on the longest roller coaster ride of my life. I try to do everything I can to stay healthy. I am allergic to exercise, however, so that's kind of a constant battle. I can't do a lot of the things, the physical work that our sisters do. Especially cleaning the house. I seem to have an allergy for that, a very convenient one. I take the injections, I go to the doctor periodically. You can tell by looking at me that it's a struggle. When I was first diagnosed, the neurologist said to me, you know, you really should stay away from stimulants. And I looked at him and I said, really? We're nuns. We don't smoke, we don't drink, well, not very much. We don't do drugs, we don't have sex. The only thing left is coffee and chocolate. Sorry. So many good people have been my companions along the way. And then I have my doctor, Dr. Barbara Geiser. And I had a chance to chat with her a little bit about using our brains, putting our brains together to make a difference. Why did you choose MS as your specialty?
I had the great good fortune to be trained by one of the founding fathers of MS comprehensive care in the 20th century. That was Dr. Leib Scheinberg. When I finished my residency, I didn't know what I was going to do, and he offered me a job in his MS clinic. 30 years later, I'm still doing it.
Over these 30 years, what have you learned from your MS patients?
The great gift that my patients have given me is I get to see their grace in the face of change and how to adapt to change and how to rise to challenges and how to live their lives with a chronic illness. And it's very instructive and it's very humbling, and I'm very grateful to them.
What are your hopes for brain research?
As some people may know, Congress declared 1990s as the decade of the brain, and during that decade we made tremendous advances in neurologic research. For example, the disease-modifying agents for multiple sclerosis were introduced during the 1990s. Since I've been a neurologist, we've not only had new treatments for almost every neurologic disease you can think of, but we found out a lot more about the pathophysiology of these diseases. I think for MS, we're getting very close to the point where we're going to be able to stop it, and once we can stop it, we can start to think about repair strategies.
It's not always been easy for me. Don't you hate it when people look at you and say, Sister Rose, you look fantastic, and you're going, oh God, if they only knew. But yet, I am fantastic. I have so many gifts in my life, so many good things, even when the darkness comes over me. And I try to go ahead one step at a time, one foot in front of the other. And that's why I'm making this video, so that we have a way to put our brains together to support brain research. And I pray for everyone for healing and for joy in your life, even when it's difficult. And I pray for our support groups who lift us up and who keep us going. I ask God to bless all of you, and I wish you every good thing and grace in your life.